Well, if you're always worried about how to achieve the maximum nightly rate in your Airbnb and short-term rental property, this is the video where I'm going to explain you how exactly Airbnb pricing strategy works, also my personal thoughts on each of them, and also my personal strategies that I use with my clients. Slightly different, I talk about profit, you might think about nightly rates, so please make sure you watch this video in detail, and I hope you get to learn a lot from this video. So guys, if you're not aware of who I am, my name is Piers. I'm from growyourbnb.com. We've worked with over 1,700 properties all over the world, from clients in Dubai, Australia, US, and UK being our main clienteles. And today's video, I want to talk about just Airbnb, just the pricing on Airbnb, and for you to achieve an extremely nightly rate or extremely high nightly rates with profit in mind. Now, if you're new to Airbnb, obviously, firstly, you need to set up your Airbnb listing. Now, I have done previous video where you can go and see how you can list your property on Airbnb. It could be a room, it could be an apartment, it could be a house. We've even got clients that we previously worked with caravans. Even some of my clients who personally we haven't worked, but I've seen it, has got boats and turned into a short-term rental. And the idea behind this is, again, when you're putting them in a nightly rate, and obviously when you're looking at the market, you're probably looking at what other people are doing in that investment area. That's exactly what you should do. However, you should never drive yourself with those nightly rates, purely because in this video, I want to firstly talk about two things that Airbnb does. So you have two different options. One is the dynamic pricing, the other one is smart pricing. Now let's go into a bit of detail. Now, if you're not aware of how Airbnb smart pricing works, believe it or not, they take 70 different factors. If you look on Airbnb article itself, there's so many different factors they look at to set a price or guide price. When you're actually looking at putting your first time listing, it actually says you about the smart pricing, and it kind of gives you an indication of what the market is charging and what's the reason behind it. But now look, do you have to follow that? Maybe not. I've actually ever looked at it and gone, okay, it's a market indication, but really you're sitting there going, it's just a market indication. It might be different to your property. It might be the way you've set up, you've invested. You might be in the high end of the market, and you should never look at that pricing as what they suggest. The second one is obviously the dynamic pricing, where the market, it always reads the market, you know, the high season, the low season, the type of property, the demand, the availability of your property, and as a result of that, obviously it will increase or decrease your price to match the market requirement. Is it a great tool? Absolutely it is, because look, some of the time I've seen many investors or property owners who's created an Airbnb listing haven't turned on the dynamic tool, and as a result of that, let's say Christmas period, they've got a flat pricing, and they'd be actually selling themselves cheap. Whereas that should automatically, with the dynamic pricing, your peak season goes up, which means you should be charging double the price. Now, again, think about profit. That's when you've got peak season, which means you're going to make higher profit. So if I was you, I'd stop this video, open an Airbnb account if you've already got one with your property, and go and start playing around with those two tools. So the treat for you in this video is my way of doing things. Now, both the tools aren't as great, but I found out that if you're working in a location very tourist, you've got that peak season, those tools are amazing. Obviously, you probably know things like Price Labs or dynamic pricing. There's other tools out there in the market which will also allow you to do similar, but all across all the platform. However, I want to share you my strategy. Now, the first thing I do is you have an option to put a flat base price. That is what I would recommend you, purely because if the market's saying, okay, well, it's £100, I would go in around 110 to 120%. So I've already got that 10-20% margin. Yes, are you upping your price? You are, because obviously you want to achieve the best nightly rate, potentially possible even in low season. But also think about what type of guest do you want to work with. Now, we work with a lot of long-term guests. You probably watched some of my client interview. Some of my recent clients have banged in over £30,000 on direct bookings, as a result of my pricing strategy as well as branding work. Now, if you think about flat pricing, you're going, Piers, what about the peak season, right? You are right. But what we then do is we turn it into 7 nights minimum booking. So all of a sudden, you're now not attracting those 2-3 nights booking, which again, you know, I've done a video about messy calendars. You will end up, look, if you open your calendars for 2-3 nights, you're going to get something booked next week for 2 nights, empty for 4 days, the same. Then you're constantly chasing your calendar. Is it great? Yes, in high season you can do it. Does it come with a lot of management? It does, because you're constantly checking in, checking out clients, you're constantly managing your housekeeping team. So now think about the flat rate that we've just created across the board in your calendar. Then go back and now think about profit. When you think about profit, I always get clients going, okay, Piers, actually, I would like to achieve X amount of profit this month. It all goes back to the market demand. Look, I've got clients when previously I've said to my clients, okay, actually, you probably achieve only £1,500 net profit. Take all the expenses, only £1,500. But they're like, Piers, actually, there's some months we've achieved 2,000. And I'll be like, okay, cool, fine. We'll set the algorithm based on that. So if you go on the back end of Airbnb, there's 3 different options. One, you've got weekly discounts. You then have a monthly discount algorithm. And then you also have a 3-4, you can break it down to whatever night stage you do. What I want you to do is sit down and look at all your break-even cost, whatever fixed cost it is. I then also want you to add the profit you want to make, and whatever that sums up. Obviously, Airbnb's got their 15% plus, I think it's plus VAT commission. Now, I want you to then add all that, get a figure in place, and then work out your algorithm discount. So you can then go in there. Let's say you said £1,100 a night. Times by 30 nights, it's £3,000. Now, if your break-even's only £1,000 and you want to make, let's say, another £1,000 on profit, that's £2,000 you need as gross. You need to go in the algorithm and set. If you look at Airbnb discount on the actual monthly, you could put the number or say 20% off, and it will give you the gross value you're going to make. Now, what you're doing right there is you have now understood profit. You're not putting, look, 90% of operators today put that discount based on how they feel. They haven't got a number in place. They don't know what profit they're going to make. Sometimes I've got a client put in 30% and I'm like, what profit do you want to make in this? And they're like, oh, Piers, we want to make £1,000. But that discount they put would actually only make them £700. So the algorithm doesn't make sense because they're doing it for the sake of doing it rather than understanding the model. So look, I would love you to implement that. I'm going to do a much more detailed video with some screen share at later date, but for now, I hope this finds you can sit down and look at your profit. Nothing to do with nightly rates, and I hope you achieve this in the best way possible. So the interesting fact is, look, my team has created a lot of guides, free guides in my Properties website. So we've got growyourbnb.com, and I've also got another company called Property, which is the investment company. I have put the link down below. I'd love you to go down and check those free guides. We talk a lot about pricing, deals, automation, anything you want to help you to systemize your business in short-term rental. Very helpful tool. And if you need anything from us, please make sure you comment down below what you need, and we'll happily create a free guide for you. But guys, I hope you enjoyed this pricing video. I hope it gave you an understanding about profit rather than nightly rates. And look, if you'd like to watch more of my videos, there's so many videos that I've done previously, which is going to help you grow and understand your short-term rental business a lot better. So thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you hit that like, subscribe and share, and I'll be back with another video soon.